Okay, hi, I am here with Igor from Cure, and today we're going to be talking a little bit more about this project, finding out about the team, finding out about what Cure aims to do and how it will help QA developers moving forward, and ultimately to get some people interested, to get some test users, and yeah, generate some discussion around this. So I guess we'll start with a little bit about you and the team, Igor. I have the privilege of having met you already, but could you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about some of the people that you're currently working with?
Yeah, hey, nice to meet you. Basically, I was pursuing the idea of launching anything like myself for about 8 years, and I did a lot of trials and mistakes in that. But right now, and for the past 4 years, I've been working in JetBrains in different projects, including the IntelliJ and the AI assistant. And finally, JetBrains is making an internal incubator that allows launching new, very experimental stuff that is far away from the main IDE's line. And that's why I'm here. So about a year ago, we started experimenting with the different tools in the end-to-end testing area, since I felt the pain myself, and I really wanted to have a solution there. And so it went much further than I expected then. Right now, we are a team of 5 people, 5 engineers, including myself, all folks. And regarding the team assembly, I really like the idea of the crew source team, where they have a lot of almost any engineer is the ex-founder of their own project, and we follow a similar principle here. So all of us has launched previously kind of successful or unsuccessful, like in my case, products and businesses. But now we are moving and pushing it further and harder.
Yeah, amazing. Who also, I think, we talk about this a lot, but it isn't a problem that you've had some challenges in the past, because this is what's going to set you up for a good foundation with Cure and the rest of your team. So who is on the team, who specifically, and what are they doing?
Yeah, so we have Igor, the technical lead, and he's mostly digging into hard engineering problems and making sure that our AI augmented development approach doesn't break the product apart in a few weeks of uncontrolled accepting the AI changes. Also we have an AI engineer, Kostya, who is spent a lot of time in training ML models for visual and text recognition and other stuff. And he was also building a kind of similar project to what we are doing with AI-powered web testing, mobile testing, sorry. And recently joined our team to manage the agentic side and making sure that our AI interactions are on par with top AI coding agents like Cursor, Cloud Code, and so on.
Good.
Also we have Andrei, and also we have Andrew, an experienced Python developer who is doing a lot of essential stuff for the system to behave properly and to support scaling and to have higher reliability than you can expect from a project that early, since we understand that the security is quite a crucial part once the agent operates your code and the actions that you make in the browser. And by the way, he's also the author of the Python overview library, which has about 5 or 6 K stars on GitHub.
A true marker of quality. Yeah, this is a great team. I mean, somebody watching this might not know, but I can attest to the fact that you have some incredible talent from the JetBrains team working with you, and even externally at some point you might have, which is fantastic. And I'm glad that you've all come together and you now have the support of the Incubation Hub or Innovation Hub to help you see out your project. I think the fact that you have that shows that you had a real problem to solve in the beginning, and I think we should go into that a little bit more. What was the big issue? You touched on it a little bit earlier, but what was the big problem or the big issue that really made you passionate about creating Cure?
So as I mentioned, I did a lot of pet projects around the web apps. And as I said, about a year ago, I tried to push my development workflow further with the use of LLMs. And I encountered a very common situation when the project grows. Each new feature or flow added by the agent usually breaks a bunch of stuff that previously existed before those changes. Of course, tests exist, but it's kind of boring writing them compared to designing how the UI should and how the product should behave. So I tried the test-driven development with a focus on end-to-end testing and using the AI agents to generate the tests as well as the implementation that follows those flows and principles and expectations. But I quickly realized that they are really the AI-generated tests are more dragging the project rather than boosting their confidence. A lot of stuff hasn't been properly covered. A lot of test cases duplicate each other, so that in the end they take tens of minutes to run the entire test suite. And I started digging into that to find how to properly let agent know about the web application that we are working with, not only the surface layer that's, for example, the playwright MCP provides, like the screenshots, but on a deeper way of understanding how the desired interaction look like. And since we are talking not about static pages and landing pages, but much more complex web apps, it's essential to produce the final test that interacts with the app the same that the user would.
Okay. How have you found the initial reaction from some of your test users?
It was kind of scary since while we were implementing the first MVP in about 3 months, I for sure have higher than average standards over the quality and both on the UI side and the product side. And coding agents developed significantly in the understanding of the UI, still being on the surface level, but it was a movement that I saw. So first of all, with the first team, we failed to compete with the cursor, and it was kind of tricky to achieve since I underestimated how these people are into controlling their workflow, and they were very decent engineers.
Yeah.
And that's what made us understanding. And actually, we tried to push it harder and to cover the gap between us, the cure, and the cursor. But after a few trials, we managed doing that, but understood that it completely moved us to a different direction of making yet another coding agent rather than allowing people without enough time to develop an architecture or without having a skill and understanding of how their programming works to being able to automate their manual work, both the manual testing and manual typing of the letters to produce scripts. Yeah, so we moved to that direction, and now we have a much more positive feedback from people that don't have that plenty of time to develop a really, really strong framework under their end-to-end test suite.
Okay, good. I feel like we talked a little bit about differentiation because, we had some comments on LinkedIn and some questions about how Cure is different. And some of these points that you're making already give us a glimpse into that. But if we were to summarize it, I guess, to 3 points, how would Cure be different from using an alternative solution or just going straight to your LLMs and trying to create and do these things yourself as a developer?
Mm-hmm. So basically, right now, there are 3 types of competitors and alternatives. One is AI coding assistants like Cloud Code, Cursor, and others. The second one is no-code tools like record and playback ones, Catalan Studio, and so on. And the third one are autonomous LLM-powered AI agents that interact with your application directly. So compared to coding agents, we have a really strong deterministic layer that ensures you get the test that perfectly fits your code base, so the code quality is higher, lower maintenance in the end. And at the same time, it better understands the application semantics, so it doesn't require a lot of prompting in order to get the test that you actually expect, thanks to the recording feature that we have. And in that, we target the out-of-the-box experience without you having to learn how to prompt the agent properly, and it's that you just dump your mind and you get a reliable, well-maintainable, and fully passing test after you spend like a couple of minutes and a couple more waiting until the agent finishes. Regarding the no code, basically, it's all about test maintenance. It's kind of well known knowledge. It's a common issue of all no-code tools that once you update the application, you have to change a lot of tests, and that drags your time. And teams that are heavily dependent on no-code, they tend to spend like 80% of their time in just updating the existing test suites, not even talking about expanding the coverage further.
Yeah.
And the third one regarding the autonomous AI testing agents, basically they're quite easy to use, I must admit, since you just need to naturally describe their testing path. And they provide you like 90% accurate results when testing it. But even if we're not considering the price of them, which is significantly higher than running deterministic tests, the main problem they have is that in case of false negatives, when they tell you that you don't have any bugs, you cannot be anytime sure that it's indeed the fact that you face. So I spoke to a lot of different QA engineers and engineer managers in order to validate the idea and to shape it properly. And all of they say that these last 10% of certainty is actually what the QA engineers provide the developers with. And that's the gap we are closing with the deterministic tests. But those are created by the AI with a high control by the human.
Okay. Awesome. I mean, I feel like the benefits for the QA engineering team are quite clear if everything goes to plan. But I think from my perspective, as somebody who's thinking more about the strategy from a business perspective, or maybe who's a stakeholder working with developers but isn't a developer, I'm sometimes thinking about how something like Cure could fit into our overarching tech stack, or where it would fall into the CI pipeline, so that I can figure out kind of where to put it from a strategic perspective. So if we step away for a moment from speaking to developers and we speak to other decision makers within business, where can Cure fit into our workflows, and particularly for enterprise clients, because I feel like that's where the value really lies for this, although anyone could use it, but where would it fit in?
Again, I will have a multiple perspective and multiple layers here. First of all, it's obvious your manual QAs start automating stuff that they are doing manually. It saves their time to dig deeper in each specific case, to design tests better. In the end, you receive the higher quality of the product, less regressions, and much less incidents in production, with keeping the same cost of man labor, since the same people that you already trust and you already have in the team can do just 2 times more than they currently do. For QA engineers who do the automation and who know programming, we are just a multiplier. We allow them to get rid of the grind and the manual typing of the code, and shift their focus into designing a proper architecture for their testing framework, optimizing the performance of tests. Since again, it's kind of an issue. Once you try to push your coverage further, you end up having test suites that are executed for an hour, or in a few cases that I heard of, it takes like 10 hours and they run nightly, and it's no way you can react quickly to some incidents in production. So in the end, it allows them to optimize the entire framework instead of just manually grinding yet another testing flow or maintaining the previously existing test.
Okay.
And again, the benefit is pretty much the same. You get higher quality, faster release cycles, and also another thing that is commonly widespread, especially when the deadlines are coming, is that developers are dragged into their test fixes or implementing new tests if QAs do not, if they don't have enough time to do that in this specific moment. So this eliminates, our product eliminates this need of dragging the developers into testing too much. So you get features implemented quicker.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I know also, a few people on my team at work have been trying Cure, and we've chatted a little bit about their experience with it. And one of the discussion points that came back was about how Cure integrates with other tools, whether that be not only at JetBrains, but I guess also outside of JetBrains. I know it's very early days still, so you probably don't have a fully fledged roadmap, or just finding out first what people think before committing to new features and functionality. But I am wondering what the plan is for integration, what kind of tools you would prioritize integrating Cure with, or creating some sort of relationship between the two. And would it be first JetBrains tools and then external, or would it be a combination? What are some of the most popular tools that people are using on the market that we could use Cure with?
Right now, we are trying to make it as smooth as possible to fit into your existing workflows. So you just swap the way you implement the code from your existing tool to the Cure. And that allows you to keep everything else, including the CI pipelines, how the end-to-end tests are integrated into development workflows, when they are triggered, how they are executed, who makes the decision about should we release or not. All of that stays the same as you currently have. Of course, further, we will expand from this place to other things. And the most obvious one is about executing the tests in the cloud. So you don't have to manage the environment for running those tests, both in CI and during the creation of a new test. To achieve that, we obviously will have a bunch of cloud providers that unlock the current CI executions for you right now, like the JetBrains TeamCity, GitHub Actions, GitLab, and so on. That's definitely on the roadmap in a recent year for sure. But on the other side, to provide the deterministic control over the AI agent that we have under the hood, we right now are kind of tightly integrating with test frameworks that allow agent to get more insights into what happened during the test execution. To mention a few, it's the Playwright and Selenium right now. We will also expand to Cypress soon. Yeah, and here I really like what Playwright does in this area, providing a lot of different debugging mechanisms that are prepared well enough for agents to interpret this data. And for example, for the Playwright, it's kind of easier for us to implement that connection, but we will also introduce this into other frameworks to have a better observability for the agent regarding test execution.
Okay. This is great. So while I guess we're kind of on the theme of market perspective as you're talking about this and some of the potential competitors. So when we're thinking about the market for this, I mean, I mentioned a little bit earlier that we want to look at enterprise consumers, but ideal user is based on everything you've said so far. I'm guessing enterprise, automation, QA engineers.
Right now, the product shines with large code bases, very complex UI web apps, and a lot of existing test automation. So we're talking about mid-market companies that move quickly so that they can easily adopt our tool quick, since we need a lot of feedback right now, and we are prioritizing folks and teams who are ready to jump, not like in a year of explaining and discussing the terms of the contract. So yeah, to summarize it, mid-market companies with about 200 to a few thousand employees, among those about 50 QA engineers who do automation, with complex web UIs that they automate. If naming a few of the domains that we find our tool especially powerful, probably the how to tell it. Obviously, it comes about different software as a service and everything where there is a lot of repetitive and similar projects going on, especially when we are talking about the outsource firms where a lot of different projects require setting up significant automation to save your own time and customers' money to ensure highest quality standards.
Okay. Also, I remember, the conversation whenever we talk about new products at the moment, it's always like, well, how will this be different from Cursor Code, etc. Functionality that already exists and is open to everyone. And I remember when we were talking a little bit about the market and how Cure is doing now, you mentioned that actually we do have some clout in the eyes of developers. They are looking at Cure versus Cursor, and in some cases, Cure will come out on top for this use case. Do you want to brag a little bit about that? You're welcome to.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we are focused on the out-of-the-box experience. So right now we are winning versus the AI coding agents by the
end.
Well, I must admit, not in all cases. If the developer, and especially that's often happens with developers who spend a lot of time in Cursor on different tasks, including end-to-end testing, if they have a very developed and polished workflow, which they're happy about, high chances that we won't win. But in most cases, I see that people are still struggling to properly find the approach, how to steer the agent right. So it's like driving without, so it's like driving with a loose tire. You always have to steer to the different direction of where you want to go. And we remove that friction when compared to coding agents.
Okay. So I guess now, let's say hypothetically somebody watches this or they've read a bit about Cure, they've spoken to you, and they are interested in helping to try it and to give feedback. I guess that's the most important action that somebody can take at this point. You still tell us a little bit about the stage Cure is in and what you need from potential users, how we could interact.
Yeah, so recently we moved from the alpha version to a closed beta. It's still kind of experimental, but we are happy in most cases with the result that it provides. Still a lot of cases to cover, still a lot of bugs to discover. Right now, we're providing full free access to the closed beta after having some short conversation to know more about your use case, to properly understand how you work and improve the product further. And then we provide access to the desktop app that we have, so you can use it extensively. And the most valuable thing we are really seeking, and the most valuable thing we are looking for right now is, of course, the feedback. We want to push the solution as far as possible and as best as possible. So we would be super happy to see any issues, ideas, bugs discovered, anything why you think that this thing is not perfect yet, to help us making it perfect in a few months, years, eternity, whenever it takes.
Eternity. I guess also early users will have the benefit of being able to actually use Cure, which is in a decent state, and they will get access to some JetBrains licenses as well, right? If they need it.
Yeah, we by default we don't provide the licenses yet. That's an idea to think about.
Maybe. Okay, good. But I mean, we can discuss it on a case-by-case basis, because I guess it's still, this is the benefit of something still being in the early stages, is you can still speak to the founder. You can still offer input that actually shapes what the product will be for you later. You can help with ideas, etc. So it's like, this gives people the opportunity to give real input, and it really gets turned into action instead of, a product, for example, that is already well established, that has millions of users, which is very common in JetBrains actually, where you don't have that closeness with the founding team.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I said, our team is quite lean. So in most cases, we respond in a matter of tens of minutes. And in case the issues that we discover and that you bring to us do not take us like months to implement, and that happens like in most cases we are shipping the update in weeks. In most cases we are shipping the update in days, not like weeks, months. That it usually happens even inside the JetBrains with the IntelliJ IDEA.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, and I guess you are also, you've offered to demo Cure if anybody would like to. Wherever people are seeing this, I'm happy to give some details for how to get in touch or how to learn more, which they'll be able to find in whatever caption or comment section we are currently in, which is cool. So I think we know a lot about Cure now. We know a little bit about you and your team and what the vision is for the product. We know that we need test users, we need feedback. So please, 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 if anyone's watching this, get involved, get in touch. Very nice group of people who could genuinely share some value with you, offer you some value, and get from you as well, from your opinion. And then I guess just to close it off, I'm just interested in your thinking about all of this in terms of what the future looks like, because we keep having these conversations everywhere we go, but what could an ideal testing workflow look like in future? How could it be better than now, considering what Cure is bringing and other products?
Yeah, so basically in my vision of a long-term future, there won't be a clear boundary between the testing and the requirements and the development of those requirements. They all will merge together. And Cure in that case, Cure serves as your personal validator that everything that you wanted to be true in your app to be actually that. So you don't have to manually validate each change and each feature that you are thinking about. And at the same time, helping you to extract those requirements and extract those expectations from your head into more tightly formulated stuff that is much easier to understand for the agents, which would definitely, especially if we are considering the pace of improvements, which would be definitely the main source of actually doing this stuff for you.
Yeah. Interesting. I would love to get other people's opinions on this as well. I know at JetBrains, we always love a lively debate. Hugo, thank you so much. On a personal note, I also just wanted to say congratulations to you and the team. I don't know if everybody realizes, but it's a massive deal to be backed by one of the top software tool developers in the world, to be part of Innovation Hub, and not only to be part of it, but also to get through the various rounds that it requires, and the consistency and hard work that it requires, that you are dedicated to building this, that you have been dedicated, and you're now bringing it to users along with your team is a massive feat. And I hope that you take a moment to sit and absorb it and give yourself a quick pat on the back before you continue building.
Indeed. Thank you very much. It's kind of takes a lot of effort from the team to ship it, but yeah, seeing the actual usage and seeing how the lives of end-to-end testing changes with the things that we created with our hands, it's rewarding much more than enough to continue working in that direction.